He didn't just write music, he gave voice to the deepest parts of the human heart. And now, that voice is silent. When Brian Wilson sang "God Only Knows What I'd Be Without You," he wasn't just speaking to a lover, he was speaking to the world. And now, that world mourns a man whose harmonies touched the heavens, even as he wrestled with darkness here on earth. He was the soul of the Beach Boys, the quiet genius behind the soaring falsettos, layered harmonies, and melodies that carried an entire generation to the California dream. Today, we remember Brian Wilson, not just through the music, but through the words of those who stood beside him, including his longtime bandmate and cousin, Mike Love. Brian Wilson, the co-founder and creative heartbeat of the Beach Boys, passed away peacefully at the age of 82. While his cause of death has not been publicly disclosed, it's known that Brian had long faced health challenges, both mental and physical, over the years. His family issued a brief statement, thanking fans for their love and support, and asking for privacy during this time of mourning. Brian Wilson wasn't just a songwriter. He was an architect of sound, a pop symphonist, a man who, from the confines of a studio, reshaped the very idea of what music could be. From Surfer Girl to Pet Sounds, from Good Vibrations to Wouldn't It Be Nice, Wilson's compositions were layered, emotional, and far ahead of their time. With his revolutionary use of multi-track recording and orchestral arrangements, he created albums that felt like sonic novels, deep, immersive, and timeless. Beach Boys frontman and co-founder Mike Love was among the first to release a heartfelt tribute. He wrote, "Brian had a way of making emotion into music. We were more than bandmates. We were family. Through all the ups and downs, what we built together still stands. Pet Sounds changed the world, but Brian changed me." Though their relationship was often complicated, marked by creative tension and long periods of estrangement, Love acknowledged the profound respect he held for Wilson. "Whatever happened between us fades next to the music," he said. "That's what matters now. That's what endures." Jardine, another founding member of the Beach Boys, simply said, "Brian was the soul. He saw beauty in pain and joy in silence. He gave us the soundtrack to our youth." Outside the Beach Boys, beyond the surfboards, sunshine, and the iconic falsettos, Brian Wilson's influence touched virtually every corner of the music world, and as news of his passing spread, tributes came pouring in from every genre, every generation, and every continent. He wasn't just a pop icon. He was the pop architect. Paul McCartney, who once described Pet Sounds as his favorite album of all time, was among the first to issue a heartfelt public statement. He called Brian a genius and one of the kindest spirits I'd known. McCartney reflected on the friendly rivalry between the Beatles and the Beach Boys in the 1960s, a competition that pushed both groups to artistic heights. "Without Brian and Pet Sounds," McCartney once said, "there would have been no Sgt. Peppers." That wasn't just praise, it was history speaking. In his tribute, he wrote, "The loss of Brian is immeasurable. He made music that opened minds and softened hearts. We shared many laughs, and I always admired how he wore his heart in his melodies." Elton John offered his own emotional message. "There would be no modern pop music without Brian Wilson. It's that simple." Elton went on to say, "When I was just starting out, I would listen to the Beach Boys in my flat in London, studying how Brian stacked those harmonies, how he made sorrow sound beautiful. He changed the game." For artists like Elton, Brian wasn't just an influence. He was a roadmap, a standard, a spirit to chase. Even among today's youngest stars, Brian's reach is evident. Billie Eilish, born nearly 5 decades after the Beach Boys' first chart toppers, posted a simple but moving tribute on Instagram. "Your music was the first I ever cried to. Thank you, Brian." That sentiment, of emotional release, of deep connection, is exactly what made Wilson's music endure through time. Billie, known for her own emotional honesty, recognized the same purity in Brian's work that resonated with millions. Other tributes soon followed. Brian May, guitarist of Queen, call him the Picasso of sound, bending emotion and color into music no one else could imagine. Smokey Robinson said Wilson's voice and compositions could melt steel and heal hearts all at once. Lana Del Rey, often compared to 1960s California dream pop, wrote, "He captured the ache of the American soul. That longing, that wonder, it's all him." And it wasn't just musicians. Tom Hanks, who met Wilson during the making of the biopic Love and Mercy, recalled their first conversation. "I asked him what music was to him, and he said, 'It's how I tell the truth.' That stayed with me. It always will." Barack Obama, in a rare personal post, honored Wilson with these words, "Brian Wilson's songs reminded us of the innocence of youth, the complexity of love, and the beauty of vulnerability. America was lucky to have his voice." Meanwhile, thousands of fans shared their own memories, through videos, tweets, and TikToks, of the first time they heard God Only Knows or played Pet Sounds on a rainy afternoon. One fan wrote, "I played in my room the night I lost my mother. It was the only thing that helped me breathe." Another posted a clip of their child swaying to Wouldn't It Be Nice, captioned, "3 generations raised on Brian's harmonies." Radio stations around the world held special tributes, spinning Beach Boys classics and rare solo tracks deep into the night. In California, impromptu beach vigils sprung up from Santa Monica to San Diego. Candles lined the shores. People gathered in silence. Others sang, some with tears, as Don't Worry Baby played through handheld speakers. Even streaming platforms took notice. Within hours of the announcement, Spotify reported a 400% increase in Beach Boys and Brian Wilson streams. Apple Music curated a front-page tribute titled, "The Sound of Brian Wilson." YouTube comments under every Beach Boys video became digital memorials, filled with words like genius, angelic, and thank you. All these voices, famous and ordinary, echo a simple truth. Brian Wilson mattered. He mattered not because he chased fame. He mattered because he chased truth, in music, in emotion, in soul. His influence is felt in every artist who dares to be vulnerable, in every producer who thinks of sound as paint, in every listener who finds refuge in harmony. As Mike Love said in his own tribute, Brian gave us more than melodies. He gave us pieces of his soul. He made us better musicians, and maybe even better people. And so, as the tributes continue to pour in, as strangers sing his songs under starlight, as artists across the world bow their heads in thanks, we are reminded, the sound of Brian Wilson will never fade. Because true music, the kind that speaks without needing to shout, never really dies. It lives on, in our speakers, in our memories, in our hearts. Who could forget Brian hunched over the mixing board during the Pet Sound sessions, or his reclusive years when he was rarely seen in public, yet his music played everywhere? One of Brian Wilson's most poignant and enduring quotes remains, "My whole life has been about trying to get happy. The music is where I could be okay." In that quiet admission lies the essence of his genius and his humanity. Brian wasn't just composing songs. He was composing safe spaces. He gave the world not just sound, but solace. Through layered harmonies and vulnerable lyrics, he gave generations of listeners a place to feel understood, a space where melancholy and beauty could live side by side. His vulnerability wasn't a weakness, it was his superpower. His willingness to share his emotional battles so openly, through songs like In My Room, I Just Wasn't Made for These Times, and Caroline No, helped people find courage in their own fragility. Though Brian's funeral arrangements remain private, in accordance with his family's wishes, the response from his global fan base has been anything but quiet. All across the world, from Santa Monica to Sydney, fans are organizing candlelight vigils. Public parks are filling with the soft sound of Beach Boys classics. Tribute concerts are being planned in cities like Los Angeles, London, and Tokyo. Online, digital memorials are overflowing with photos, memories, cover performances, and words of love. In every corner of the internet, and in every heart he ever touched, Brian Wilson is being remembered the way he lived. Through music, through feeling, and through a shared yearning for peace. Though he is gone, the sound he left behind still surrounds us, gentle, honest, and forever timeless. From beaches in California to bedrooms around the world, people are playing In My Room and Caroline No, honoring the man who wrote the soundtrack to their most intimate memories. Brian Wilson gave us more than music. He gave us comfort. He gave us honesty. He gave us himself. In a world so loud, his harmonies taught us to listen, to feel, to love. As Mike Love so perfectly said, he made us more than we ever thought we could be. Brian, thank you for letting us hear your heart. If Brian's music ever meant something to you, share your favorite song or memory in the comments. Let's fill this space with love, harmony, and gratitude for the man who gave us all so much.